Here at RCHT, we are so proud of the services we provide for our patients with palliative and end-of-life care, but fully recognise behind each patient there is a family that worry and are deeply concerned, and we have a responsibility to make sure that we look after both patient and their families. The last 2 years have been extremely difficult, and as we come out of the pandemic, we want to make sure that we continue to give that service both to patients and their loved ones. Here we do ask for opinion, but we want to make sure that each voice is heard and that we learn lessons and make the changes that support the family during an extremely difficult time.
I support by leading a programme focused on constantly improving end-of-life care for our patients and those important to them. I want to support our staff to appreciate the importance of communicating well and delivering the highest standard of care to patients and their families. We want to get it right every time.
Hi, I'm Todd, and I support my patients by listening to them and communicating effectively to find out what their needs are and to support them in the best possible way in a hospital environment at the end of their life.
My name is Nikki, and I provide support by being compassionate and empathetic to my patients and their relatives because they are just as important.
My name is Amy, and I'm a speech and language therapist. I support people communicating their needs, wishes and feelings towards the end of their life.
I support.
I support.
I support.
I support.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm one of the chaplains. Our role is to support patients and their families and our staff colleagues in some of the darkest and most difficult times of life. We listen, we care, we come alongside. We're often present on the journey. We're there 24 hours a day. We're there for you.
Hi, my name's Claire. I support patients and their families by providing refreshments in a friendly and supportive environment and lending a listening ear if they want to chat.
My name is Sanjeev. I'm an acute physician and I work in the emergency department and the acute medical unit of the Royal Cornwall Hospital. So many times I see people who are towards the end of life, in the end of life. Many times it has happened very quickly, and families of the patients and the patients themselves have found it very difficult to understand what's going on. And what I do is try and support them, be as compassionate and sensitive, listen to them. Listening, I think, is the most important thing, and it's something that we try and train our trainees to do as well. Because being compassionate and being a good listener and breaking bad news as compassionately as possible, I think, is an important part of a job.
Hi, I'm Liz. I support by recognising the needs of the friends and families of patients. I also support staff via education to enable them to provide the highest standards of care to our patients and families.
I support.
I support.
I support.
I support.
Hi, I'm Nikki, and I provide a safe place and a listening ear for relatives and patients.
We're here to support you with your spiritual needs as well, caring for you and your family and your loved ones as a whole person. Whether you have a faith or no faith, we can support you. We're available all the time, so we're here when you need us.
Hi, I'm Sonia. I support the welfare of patients and their relatives as well. I look after them, I try to feed them, give them nice lollies and things to refresh them. I also like to look after the relatives because I feel it's important that they're looked after and treated nicely as well, and do all I can to help them while they're there, because it's, you know, the memory they take home with them, to look after them as well as their relative or loved one.
Hi, I'm Dani, and I'm an occupational therapist. I support patients at their end of a life to go home from the hospital by completing a range of holistic assessments to ensure they have the right equipment and support at home.
I support.
I support.
I support.
I support.
My name is Michael Thomas. I'm the lead nurse for a team that cares for newly diagnosed patients with a non-curative cancer diagnosis. We work in a proactive and rehabilitative way, empowering the patients to make decisions and to remain in control of their uncertain journey. We dovetail with other services such as specialist palliative care, but our main role is to work with those patients at the beginning of that bridge, at the beginning of that crossover, and often we may be enabling them and helping them to complete their advanced care plan for their future care.
Hello, my name is Lorna. I'm a part of the physiotherapy team. I support while patients are in hospital to maintain their mobility and maintain their strength while they are unwell.
I support and work with patients to enable good symptom control and good sharing of information about their illness and their treatment options, so they're able to consider what really matters, what's important to them as they approach the end of their lives. I support and work with teams and clinicians to work in this way too.
I support.
I support.
I support.
We fully recognise we do not always get this right, both for the patient or their family, and most importantly how we support and educate and develop our staff to be able to deal with difficult situations that mean that the patient and their family get the right outcome.